That's all.
Right.
This should be interesting. I don't believe that Red Black Scam is going to be hurting too bad from the moon effects. So, honestly, but it's also Jund. Jund has so many answers, so many removal spells that it might be just enough for Red Black Scam to not be able to keep a creature on board. Having to commit pitching a card to Fury or Grief, and then using a third card to basically reanimate it.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to run out. I feel like Red Black Scam might run out of resources getting 3 for 1.
Yeah, and that's where Jund wants you.
Yep.
Like, they want both players to sit in their own top deck mode.
Mm-hmm. Because Jund's top decks are almost always going to be better. And of course, it's all situational, depending on the deck, and the lands. It's all based on where you're at in the game.
I think this is going to be an interesting one.
Lawrence looks over the opener. What land to play? Oh, the Expedition Wooded Foothills. Of course. Man, some of these guys have just great card selection in forms of the art and printing that they've chosen. Especially picking out these the metal secret lair lands, the basics.
And we got turn 1 Ignoble Hierarch.
It's so much better than Noble. And it does everything you want a bird to do anyway, other than fly.
Yeah.
Alright, so, well, no turn 1. Doesn't seem to have the turn 2 either, but just looks like red-black tile, if you don't know what you're looking at just yet. Just like, yeah. And you have a better idea now. That is that's Feed the Swarm? No, not Feed the Swarm. The
Valakut Rebirth.
Valakut Rebirth, thank you.
And 2 Seasoned Pyromancers. Now 1. And Thoughtseize gets exile.
Mm-hmm. Be able to cast that any point. Well, sorry, play. Not cast, it is play.
Yeah, you can play a land off of that ability.
Oh, and did you see that card that's in Lawrence's list there? It just got printed in the most recent Dominaria set, Dominaria Reunited. It's Liliana of the Veil. It's a black and 1 Planeswalker, and it has the ability to force your opponents to sacrifice creatures or discard cards. It's actually a stellar card. I think it's going to see a lot of play.
Just take a second to appreciate Lawrence.
Yeah. Yeah, they would be. I mean, he's also a Jund player. Can we just understand with the expectations of the amount of money that it takes to foil out this deck, and every Jund player always does this?
You have to be dedicated to play.
Okay, so here's the Goyf. It's currently a 2/3. You can probably expect to see Franklin follow up like Demo and run off a Bolt to grow the Goyf. Oh, no, it's a Season Peasy. Okay. Discard 2 lands. Draw 2 cards. Can't be blocked. There is another shadow creature in Magic, by the way, that you are able to play. I believe you can play it in Modern too.
Yeah.
So if you ever need to block a Dalthy Voidwalker, don't play your own. Just play the other one.
Yeah.
Man, how nice would it be for Franklin to get like a Fury? Just like get it out here.
I don't think Lawrence going to need to find something. That Exalted Tarmogoyf as a 2/3 is probably not going to get there.
Yeah. And here's Kroxa. Coming down. Picking him up. Yep.
Yep.
Makes sense. Well, it looks like Scam didn't... I guess it might have been Scam, but instead of scamming his opponent, I think he scammed us.
Turn 1 Inquisition. And what a hand. That's Ragavan, Malika Rebirth, Dothy, Lily.
And again, crazy good card getting printed in Dominator United. Really, really juicing up the modern format. Lily on the Veil, I'm sure it's going to see tons of play. I mean, obviously, we have these two players here playing it.
Turn 1 Inquisition, turn 2 Tarmogoyf. Classic.
Yep, honestly, it's where it needs to be. And Franklin could also just, as always, draw the removal spell.
And that is a 3/4 sorcery creature land.
Yeah. Notably, can't be bolted, but guess what? It can be terminated.
That's true.
But we'll let him commit some more to the Goyf. Feed the Goyf. Lawrence, feed it. Boom. Or terminate. Terminate resolves, check. It goes to a 4 or 5.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. EE on 2. That tells me Lawrence might be afraid of some 2-drops that could come down.
What's our play this turn?
Would it not be just you play the Voidwalker, force the issue?
Yeah.
Yeah, just Franklin staring Lawrence down. Tell him just do it. Listen to Nike. Just do
He
it.
says, here's my 2-drop.
Here's my 2-drop. You obviously are short on lands, or else you would have been doing anything else.
Brutal.
So use your only 2 mana to activate this, get minimal value.
Missing land drops is not where John wants to be.
Nope. And until Lawrence decides to commit to... Oh, there's the 3rd land. Okay, so Endurance is online now. Like, actual castable Endurance.
Mm.
And without evoking it. Fetch. 17. It'll have to be a shock, though.
Is that... Yeah, that was basic swamp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's Swamp Inquisition, followed by Besage You, and now Stomping Ground, which makes sense. Get the red and the other green. Notably, cannot play Lily with that mana.
He's got a bolt in hand. We're just going to get rid of that Dobby.
That seems fine.
But I assume we're going to have... yep.
And would you like to activate your EE? No. It'll just be on the next turn. Now that Lawrence knows that the rebirth is no longer in hand, and handedly remove the Dothy Voidwalker.
Untap draw. What we got?
Mountain. Boom. Franklin. Send it, bud. There it is. That's Hitsigu. Consumes all, right? Like, yeah.
It looks like the special arc war, but that card is so sick.
Man. So Hitsugu consumes all, comes down, does not read ahead like the sagas in Dominator United does. So it comes down, destroys each non-land permanent with mana value 1 or less, getting rid of the engineered explosives there, forcing Lawrence to pop it to take care of the Dolphy. And then on Franklin's next turn, he'll be able to exile all graveyards. And also notably, Franklin does not have any relevant like Kroxa in the bin, but it will turn off the ability to escape him later. And now on the 3rd and final, you get to exile the saga and return it to the battlefield transformed And we'll get back to what the 3/3 does on the other side. We might want to pull that Liliana the Veil up, that new card print in Dominaria.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, but yeah, there's the 3/3 Trampler. When it deals damage, you put a 1/1 counter on Vessel of the All-Consuming. And whenever it deals damage to a player, if it has dealt 10 or more damage to that player this turn, they lose the game.
Wow.
I feel like if it gets that far,
They're probably dead already.
probably
but
got already. But notably, it is a way to get around the ability of like your life total not changing because the damage still being dealt. It's just life total doesn't change. And the Heliod combo decks that aren't in the format anymore, but having infinite life.
Ooh, got a Riveteer's Charm. Another fun new card John got recently.
Take the land. Inquisition
Use that mode.
Assassin's Trophy.
Get to exile the top 3, and then you can play them until the end of your next turn, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Would you like a Fury or a Fury? Oh, wait. Neither. Forgot that was an Inquisition and not a Thoughtseize. It's like, wait a second.
Decisions.
Yeah, that's a Fury to take out both Liliana.
What card is that? Soul of Windgrace?
Yes.
Oh my.
Taryn, do we want to pull that Soul of Windgrace up? The card that got pitched? Notably, actually a new card from Dominaria United.
Oh boy.
It's a 4-mana 5/4. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, you may put a land card from a graveyard onto the battlefield. It can't be your opponent's. 1 green, discard a land card, you gain 3 life. A red and a colorless to discard a land card and draw a card.
Ooh.
Black and 2 to discard a land card, and then Soul of Windgrace gains indestructible until end of turn. Tap it.
Interesting.
Endurance, Goyf. Lawrence tucks his own yard. Goyf comes in as a 3/4. Instant enchantment Planeswalker. Yeah, play the Grief. Yeah. No card in hand.
The Grief. Get in. Unblockable.
Correct. Lawrence, I believe, draws land per turn. Keep that in hand to try to scare Franklin off of anything in the future. But it was a fetch land. Fury, nuke, the endurance.
He's probably hoping for a 5th land there. Would have been able to just play it.
Yeah, he just gets both here.
Which effect is that?
I don't know which one that is.
Oh, it's face down right now. I can't see it.
Yeah, we're handling these triggers in order. Yeah, so you have to evoke the Fury out, ETB on the stack, tracking the fetch land. The land gets exiled under Douthie, and that'll be it for game 2. Franklin takes it down.